Welcome back. We are very close to discovering who is the ultimate survivor. The final tribal council continued with the questions from each of our 7 jury members to Charlotte and Jackie. Back to Mark.
Now it's the turn of the jury to have their say. So Andy, could you begin?
Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
Hi, Charlotte.
Hi.
How are you both doing this evening?
Fine, thank you. Very well.
I could start by saying that it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you this evening, rather than communicating by nods, winks and T-shirts, which is what I've been doing over the last few days. And what I would like you both to do is to project yourselves 12 months into the future and tell me how your lives would change if you win the money. And if I could start with you, Charlotte.
I'm sure my life would change if I won the money. I'd certainly...
I'm interested in how it would change.
Right, how it would change. I would look to certainly pay off my mortgage and do silly little things like that, and also make my family happy and more secure, and possibly setting up my own business. I've always wanted to work with animals, so I would look to do something like that. But it's very difficult to see how it would change your life, that I wouldn't let it make me a bad person, as many sometimes can make people.
Thank you. Jackie?
Well, if I was lucky enough to win the £1 million, as you probably know already, I start a new job next month. And believe it or not, I would still continue to start that new job and see how I got on with it. I would hate to be plunged into a situation where I've got too much time and too much money on my hands before I really know what effects that money would have on my life and how to go forward. What I do know is the changes in my life would be that it takes a little bit of the struggle about keeping your head above water with the bills. It sounds quite boring saying I'll pay off my mortgage and I'll help my family out with their mortgages, but I really do want to do that. And certainly Martin may be disappointed to hear this, but I would be looking at a big wedding and maybe lots of children as well, which is something at the moment I seriously have to work out how I can go about doing that. But it would just make it a bit easier to go ahead and make plans.
I'd like to wish you both good luck, not just this evening, and take care.
Well, congratulations to you both. What do you feel that you've learnt most about your own character and personality during your stay on the island that you weren't expecting to?
But I've certainly learnt to cope with being on my own and dealing with situations on my own. And I feel that that's a great achievement for me, because I really am somebody who clings on to my family all the time. But I'm really pleased that I've sort of come out of my shell with regards to that, and I am more independent.
Great. And Jackie, what do you feel you've most learnt that you didn't expect from other people's personalities and characters?
Sorry, I don't understand. What I've seen in other people that I might...
That you might have, in other words, aspects of other people's characters and personalities that you might have learnt something from.
It's an unreal situation to be in. I'm not sure I've seen real personalities. I may have seen shadowed personalities, and it's difficult to gauge that.
So there's nothing really positive that you can see that you can have learnt from your experience with 16 other people?
Oh, I've learnt that people from all walks of life can get together and survive in that sort of environment under extreme hardships, and I've experienced great encouragement from people and acts of kindness and strength.
Okay, well, good luck to you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, the Halang boys asking the questions there, your old tribal mate Charlotte, how do you think you answered them?
Well, the first question, which was Andy's, I came over extremely nervous, anticipating what sort of questions they were going to ask, and I felt I was very, nervous at that stage and perhaps didn't answer it as well as I could have done. With regards to James, I just spoke as openly as I possibly could and told what I thought from the heart.
Right. Jackie, you let your heart speak, didn't you?
Well,
Poor Martin.
Yes.
You're in trouble, mate.
With Andy's question, I felt fine with that. I gave the answer which I wanted to give. For some reason, when James asked me a question, I thought I'd forgotten how to understand English. And listening to it there, I could have answered it now. I didn't want to say, how can I learn anything from you? You've all been devious, underhand, and been lying to me. I didn't want to say that because you were about to vote for me. But I think...
James, why did you give Jackie a different question there? Was that to throw her off the scent?
No, it wasn't to throw off the scent. It's just that I was trying to sort of open up a different angle into, if you like, Jackie's personality.
No, you were asking stupid questions.
Good one.
How do you think they both answered your questions, James and Andy?
I thought that Charlotte answered my question very well. It was more or less what I would have expected. Perhaps I would have expected a little bit more from Jackie, I have to admit, on that question. She didn't give me the answer that I was hoping for.
Okay.
I think my plan had always been, I realised that I was going to be the first person asking questions, and I was very well aware of the intensity of the situation. And basically, I wanted to give the two ladies a chance of having an easy question, knocking it to the boundary, so they could relax for the other people's questions that I knew were coming.
Okay, we're going to grab the tissues while you're going to go back to Pool Artiga for further questions, starting with Pete.
Well, congratulations, both of you. You're playing the blinder. What I'd like to ask both of you is, in getting to the last two, what do you both believe is the biggest compromise you've had to make while you've been here, and do you think it will be worth £1 million making that compromise again? Charlotte?
I feel that the biggest compromise I had to make was in the early stages when I was on the Halang tribe, and I actually voted for James to leave the island. In hindsight, I could see that Adrian, who did go that night, was the person who should have gone, and that was certainly something I regretted.
Okay, Jackie?
Well, it's quite prudent you asked that question, Pete, because my biggest compromise involved you. I was in an alliance with you to vote off Halang members first, and I didn't. And I know that Richard didn't compromise himself when he was in that situation. He came to you and he told you what the plan was, because he promised you that that's what he'd do. And I didn't. I stuck with the majority and I kept stum and I voted you off. And in answer to the second part of the question, I would have to say, yes, it is worth £1 million. And I'm playing the game. I knew I'd have to stitch up a mate once here, and you were the mate I stitched, I'm afraid.
Congratulations, and we'll soon find out.
Evening.
Hello.
I'm nervous, so God knows how you only feel. So I'd like to say well done for getting here. Thanks for playing the game and let me play the game. Something I never did was steal from my fellow contestants. And myself and halitosis have been very, very close friends over the last month. But being branded a liar and a thief after my departure has left a particularly nasty taste in my mouth. Burying and stealing food was something I would never do. I just wondered if you could enlighten me as to how this story came about.
We woke up one morning and Richard said to me that the rice had gone down drastically. And when we checked the bag, it had, and the bowls were counted out, and I think 6 to 8 bowls. I didn't actually count the bowls, but I was told 6 to 8 bowls were missing. It wasn't necessarily aimed at yourself, but myself, Richard and Jackie were concerned that the other alliance, which was yourself, Mick and Eve, perhaps felt that they were going to be in the final 3, so that's where the rumours came from, that they were saving the rice. So it wasn't particularly targeted at you, it was, where's this rice gone, it's not us 3.
And Jack, your side?
I'd have to echo those sentiments. I don't think anybody ever labelled you a liar and a thief. It was just a suggestion that rice had gone missing, and we asked Mick about it, and we talked to Eve about it, and we couldn't ask you about it because you weren't there anymore. But we were all under the same conclusion that the rice had gone down.
Both of you, at one time or other, admitted wanting to go home. Do you feel, having sort of verbalised these sort of admissions of defeat, that you deserve to be called the ultimate survivor? Jackie first.
Yes, I do, because the fact that I was honest and said, this is tough, this is getting me down, it would be great to go home, doesn't mean that I gave up trying. I didn't. And the mere fact that I saved myself on many occasions when it looked like I was being voted off. I could have held my hands up, so could have you when you knew there was an alliance against you, but you didn't.
It's about you, Jack. Sorry, I'm on this side. If you could just...
Okay, but I could have held my hands up and said, oh, okay, people are going to vote against me, I'll go gracefully, but I didn't. I had that fighting spirit. I might have verbalised the fact that I'd like to go home, but the mere fact that I verbalised it just meant that I was being open and honest.
Charlotte?
Obviously, you all saw when I did get very, very down and very upset. I was at a stage where we'd just joined the merger. We were waiting to be kicked off. I knew that all the people who I'd come here with were going to be kicked off before me, and I did get particularly homesick. I don't feel ashamed that I showed my feelings, because I couldn't help myself at that stage, but I managed to pull myself back out of it, and being able to do that encourages me and gives me strength.
Thanks for your answers. Good luck to both of you.
Well done to the pair of you for getting here. I've just got 2 questions, one to each of you. Jackie, I'm well aware that you think I've played a hard game sticking to the rules, which is exactly the game that I wanted you to believe that I was playing. And, you know, you have played a better game because here you are in the last 2. But I would be very interested to know why you think I hate you so much.
I just think that you speak to me in clipped tones, and from the day that you left when we voted you off, even Mark commented, was I surprised at your aggression? And so how can I not think that that's through dislike or hate?
And do you think that is my personality in reality, or do you think that is possibly the role that I was playing for the game?
I think that's possibly you. But then maybe you're completely justified because I haven't been behaving great around you. I don't know. Maybe it's something we can discuss off the island.
Okay, thank you. And Charlotte, you're obviously aware of how strong tribal loyalty has been throughout the entire game. So I'd like to know what you think that you've done to deserve Ula votes tonight.
Right, well, I feel that at this stage it comes very much down to individuals, and should Jackie win this tonight because of work done by yourself, work done by Richard, Mick or Zoe or any other people who were on your tribe, I haven't just come here being dragged along by several Halang members. I've earned my way into the merger, and I've worked my way through the merger from a very, very low point up until the final 2. And I know you're a hard worker, and I hope that you'd respect me for not giving up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, some honest questions and answers there. Pete, what was the thinking behind your question?
I think I was very aware that if I'd have made 1 or 2 compromises to my own beliefs, I might have been able to push it a little bit further and got a bit further in the game. And I was just wondering, with hindsight, whether the girls felt the compromises they may have made were worth £1 million now they were in the final 2.
Right, and hearing their answers, do you think they were tactical or honest?
Well, they played the game. They're in the final 2.
Oh. Zoe, for you, was your question led by somebody else on the jury?
Yeah, it was. My question was the result of hearing a rumour that Eve passed on to me after she'd been evicted, that I'd been accused of stealing rice. So I thought I'd
You really
use...
didn't like that, did you?
No, I didn't, because we didn't care enough to steal the rice. So I thought I'd use the opportunity of the final tribal council to just to see where that rumour started and see who would lick bottom, for want of a better expression. Yeah.
You say this, Jane. Eve, the do you really hate me question?
Yeah.
Was that necessary?
I wanted to, you know, I didn't want to ask straightforward questions. I wanted to give questions that would make you think. And
I have been honest throughout the game, and I respect Jackie's honesty for saying what she thought. You know, and that's all I've asked, is that, you know, they were honest.
Right. They're as honest with you as you've been with them?
Yeah.
Okay. And you told them that they both played a better game than you.
Yeah.
Was that a bitter pill to swallow?
It is a bitter pill to swallow, but it's the truth, because they're there and I'm over here.
Right.
So, you know, but it's a big pill.
Well, after the break, we'll have the results of the phone vote. We've got a couple of emails. I've been sitting on them. This is from Paul in Wigan. Andy, how did you know Pete was going to walk on water and win the challenge?
My mother has psychic ability.
Mick, this one's a good one for you. From Paul in Yorkshire. Mick, would you recommend Survivor to others as a way of losing weight?
Definitely.
Yes. What for you? How much did you lose in the end?
£29.
£29. Ooh. You put it back on yet?
Yeah, afraid so.
Fair so. No luck, mate. We've got time for one more. Ooh, let's find a good one. I think we've got one for Charlotte here. Charlotte, if you win the million, will you blow the money on chocolate?
I'll try my best.
You'll try your best. I should jolly well think so as well. Time is running out, but you've still got time to show us who you think should win £1 million. We'll go to the phone result as it stands at the moment. Let's have a look and see who's doing what. Jackie's trailing. 41% for Jackie, 59% for Charlotte. And I can tell you we've had 250,000 calls. Keep dialing. If you think Charlotte should win, call 09068 444401. For Jackie, call 09068 444402. Calls will cost you no more than 10 pence. And remember, this is just for fun. But it does get serious when Charlotte and Jackie have to answer the final questions from the jury.
I've both stigmatised people with mental illness in my time on the island.
And the jury's votes are soon to be revealed for the £1 million winner. Welcome back. We've had another email. Persistent Paul again from Wigan. Andy, you didn't answer his question properly. What does the walk on water really mean?
I'm sorry, as the first juror, I wore a T-shirt with some numbers on it. It was 14.29, I think, which people have interpreted as being a biblical reference to Matthew, I believe, which talks of Peter walking on water. And the next day, Pete, indeed, walked on water to win a challenge. So it was quite spooky, really.
Right, he was watching over you all the way, see? Well, keep voting at home. The numbers to call if you want Charlotte to win the £1 million. 09068 444401. For Jackie, 09068 444402. Calls cost no more than 10p. How much fun can you have tonight for 10p? The lines will be closing soon, and remember, it's just for fun. Before the break, though, we saw the jury quiz Charlotte and Jackie at Tribal Council. There are 2 jury members left to ask their questions. Let's start with Mick.
Jackie, Charlotte, congratulations on getting into the position that you now are. My questions to you may be a little probing, but I'm sure you'll understand that. Jackie, you're in a successful relationship with Martin, and you appear to be quite successful in business as well. What you haven't been is successful in any of the challenges. That's not a criticism, it's merely a comment. So what I'd like you to do is to tell me, for the purpose of £1 million, what qualities you've got and have shown throughout the entire contest that would persuade me to vote for you.
Well, first of all, the fact that you say that I haven't been particularly successful in any of the challenges is a personal opinion, because I think I have. And that could be one of the qualities which means that I would deserve the £1 million. Some people find things easy and some don't. The fact that my performance has consistently got better and better in the challenges is an indication that I have never given up. And certainly you said before that your sport was orienteering, and I actually did better than you in that sport when I've never even read a compass.
Okay, right. Throughout the contest, I've heard you variously described as being a cross between a leech and a limpet. Is that your perception of yourself? And if it isn't, what is your perception of yourself for the contest?
Okay, my perception certainly isn't a leech or a limpet, although I must say that is quite amusing. My perception would be that I am a perseverer.
Okay, thank you. Charlotte, you're a police officer. You're fairly young in your career, and you certainly appear to be quite successful. You're just 25 years old. My perception of you as regards maturity is just slightly younger than that. So the concern I have with you is, were you to win £1 million, tell me how you feel, if you do, that you're mature enough to handle the huge responsibility and pressure that is going to follow that win.
I wouldn't say that I was immature, but I feel that...
No, not immature, less mature.
Right, I wouldn't feel that I was less mature than my years, but what I do realise is that my bubbly personality and always trying to be happy sometimes makes people feel that I'm being a bit of a kid all the time. But as you well know, in the police force, we have to deal with many, many different situations and scenarios, and some of those can be extremely serious. And I have seen many sights which would shock many people stood here today, but I've had to cope with those situations and I've had to deal with them. And for that reason, I feel that I'm definitely mature enough to be able to at least experience winning £1 million and then learning to cope with how to spend it.
Okay, a similar question that I just put to Jackie. I've heard you described throughout the contest as greedy, underhand and deceitful. Again, is that your perception of yourself?
That's certainly not my perception of myself, although I can see where each of those terms has come from, and it might be a single incident, it might be a couple of incidents, and there's been things which have happened on the island that I'm very, very proud of, and there's also been situations and times where I've acted in a way where I've not been proud of myself, and I can only apologise for times when I've behaved like that, and it's only myself that I've upset and myself that I've offended.
Thanks to both of you, and the best of luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Ladies of Sakutu, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good evening. Have either of you heard the story of the sparrow and the eagle?
No.
Wrong answer. The eagle said he could fly higher than the sparrow, and the sparrow tucked underneath the eagle's wing, and when the eagle had almost reached the sun and was exhausted, the eagle had to stop, and the sparrow flew that little bit higher. I have a confession. I qualified as a general practitioner 6 years ago. I'm actually a psychiatrist. I'm very proud and privileged to be a psychiatrist. You have both stigmatized people with mental illness in my time on the island. Do you think that you can win my vote, having done that?
If I've ever said anything about somebody with a mental illness, I've never meant to offend anybody, and I hope that I haven't. I say a lot of things, many things are meant in jest, and I'll also look at myself and laugh at many different things and aspects of my own personality, but I certainly don't mean to offend anybody, and I hope that my comments can be taken in the way they're meant to be taken.
Jackie?
I think you would probably overlook that had I said something against people with mental illness. I know that you have said things about people as well, and surely you can't condemn others for things that you would be prepared to say yourself.
You were both very, very scared of the jury. You should be. You both need my vote. Thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart for yesterday. I really enjoyed it. Good luck.
Oh. Richard, never mind Jackie and Charlotte. We're all petrified of his. My word. Okay. Mick, yes. Why get personal with the girls? What were you playing at?
It wasn't personal. I mean, we were
Yes,
about to give. Well, no, we were about to give away £1 million. I wanted to see how they'd react under pressure, because undoubtedly that is going to bring pressure, and that's all it was about.
Right. Well, you called them a few names as well: greedy, underhand, deceitful, leech, limpet.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Well, these were just words I'd heard people describing throughout the weeks.
Any more you want to add?
No, that's fine.
No? Like sorry?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Right,
sorry,
okay.
I'll go for sorry.
Richard, an amusing line of questioning.
The beagle in the marrow, yeah.
Yes.
It was just a more eloquent way of saying limpet, maybe, and suggesting that people were carried. But at the end of the story, the sparrow still flew higher. The sparrow still won the contest.
So what are you saying?
I was suggesting, like other people, that maybe they'd been carried. But
so were you saying that you were carrying the girls?
Yeah, but obviously not true. I was beaten by 2 better competitors.
Right.
But it was just to say, hey, there's no guaranteed vote here.
Right. So maybe not the eagle and the sparrow, maybe the rabbit and the hare.
Beagle in the marrow.
Oh, okay. Well, having answered the jury's questions, Charlotte and Jackie, our 2 finalists, had one final chance with closing speeches to persuade the jurors to give them the £1 million prize.
Now it is time for your closing speeches, and we'll do it in the same order. So, Jackie, could you start, please?
When I came here tonight, I was under the impression that whatever speech I gave you, it would make no difference at all, because you've probably come to the jury already in your mind how you want to vote. After listening to your very prudent questions, that completely changed my mind, and I think that the answers that we gave tonight would go a very long way towards the decision that you make tonight. I'd like to pick up on a couple of things that you mentioned, really. First of all, James, you said, I couldn't quite get my head around your question, but if I've understood it correctly, you're saying to me, have you learned any attribute from someone else that you would like to take away with you? Right. And thinking about that in hindsight, I've learned from Charlotte that in the face of adversity and constant nagging and criticism and badgering, the way that she handles it is superb, and I'd like to think that in the face of that sort of adversity, that in the future I could just turn the other cheek and let it just roll away without biting, snapping back. So I'd like to think I'd learned that from her. Richard, you mentioned this analogy of a sparrow and an eagle, and maybe it's my inferiority complex, but I took from that you meant that I was a sparrow and you were the eagle. We've had an alliance from the very beginning, from day one, night one, and that perhaps I've ridden on the back of your success all the way through, and at the final stage I didn't know how much weight you lost, and it meant that I went on to the best place on this programme, and that you, who have tried and worked so well up until now, are on the jury instead of there being decided upon. And I'm quite disappointed you think that way, because I have played myself throughout this game, and I've always felt that we have benefited equally throughout our whole alliance on this island, and I maintain that thought as well. So basically, I'd just like to say that I think I've played the game well. I'm here. Many people have tried to get rid of me on numerous occasions, and despite my obvious weaknesses in strength, I'm still here, and I hope that goes a long way in your decision on who's the winner. Thank you.
I just want you all to look at the whole picture ever since we first arrived at this island, and take as much as you possibly can from Andy and James, because you didn't know me when we were in the initial tribe. We had some terrible times in Halang, as you know what it must be like to be on a losing streak, and to keep up people's spirits during those periods was very difficult, but something I always tried to do. I just wanted you to know that nothing in life comes easy to anybody, and although there was a game to be played here, there was also a lot of hard work to be done, a lot of understanding, and a lot of people to get to know and learn and try to live together as a unit, which we did do. I just want you to look at me individually look at the whole aspect of the game, look at qualities which you feel would cause you to win the £1 million, and basically make a decision that you can be proud of in many years to come, and not based on just a whim, but based on the whole picture, because it really is every single day spent on this island that counts as to whether we should be the one and only survivor. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to reiterate, before we go any further, the importance of what is happening here. There is no second prize. This is all or nothing. Now, normally at Tribal Council, we've asked you to vote against someone. Tonight, I want you to vote for someone you believe deserves £1 million, for someone you believe deserves the title Ultimate Survivor.
We'll find out soon enough. Jackie and Charlotte, do you think your closing speeches helped influence the jury in any way? Jackie first.
I don't know about the closing speeches. I think what we said during that time on the last time in the jury, to the jury, sorry, that what we said probably went a little way towards changing their minds, yes.
And Charlotte?
I agree with Jackie, but I think predominantly people know who you are, and deep down I really think they knew who they were going to vote for regardless of what we said.
Interesting. Charlotte says we'll stick with it, and Jackie thinks they might change. Stephen, we've seen the jury's questions and heard Charlotte and Jackie's speeches, and we saw at the beginning of the programme how you thought the votes were going. Let's have another look at the old fletometer and see who you had where. Now, you had a victory for Jackie, 4 votes to 2, with Richard in the middle somewhere. Okay, before we reveal the real votes, you know, has your mind changed? Would you stick with that?
On the basis of what we've now seen, I'd make 1 or 2 adjustments, I think. We've seen consistent messages. Charlotte's messages around effort and consistency, and she's absorbed and deflected criticism. Jackie's message is around, I'm resilient, I've improved a lot, I've made the best of what I've got. But she's been a bit more feisty in going back at her questioners, so I think that may make a difference to some of these people. I'm pretty confident Andy and James haven't heard anything that would change their minds, so I'm going to stick with their vote on the Charlotte side. Right. Pete was looking at compromises. Have they done anything differently? Have they learned anything differently from the tricky decisions?
Are they better people?
Are they better people? Yes, he was looking for some humility maybe, or some repentance. Charlotte showed it, a bit of regret and repentance. Jackie, I think, came back at him a bit strongly. That may not be the smart thing to do when you're looking for a vote. I think you might switch to Charlotte.
Oh, right.
At least I will switch my prediction to
Okay.
Charlotte. Maybe he hasn't switched at all.
Right.
Zoe and Eve, I think they will still stay with Jackie. If anything, I heard a bit of a conciliatory tone between Eve and Jackie there, and maybe some discussions later on as to what their differences are. So the same, I think, for Zoe and Eve on Jackie's side.
Okay, this is where it gets down to it.
Last 2, yeah. Mick, I've got voting for Jackie. He put some probing questions, put some criticism to them. Jackie questioned his ability at orienteering as a result. Again, coming back quite feisty. He'll probably remember that. Charlotte was quite smart in mentioning their common experience in the police force, and that might reinforce her maturity in his eyes, which is what he was looking for. So I'd put him over the other side now. I think he might vote for Charlotte.
Oh, so in effect that would give Charlotte the victory, but have you put Richard somewhere?
Richard, I think, has had a very emotional 24 hours. I think he might go with his heart. I think he might go with his heart rather than his head and look after his sparrow. So on the Jackie side.
Well, Stephen, we could take a minute out to kind of observe, you know, what you've said over the past, you know, weeks over all the 14 that have come before us. You haven't really had a chance to kind of say what you think about Charlotte and Jackie. Now's your chance. I mean, if you had their papers again, would you have thought they would have got to the final two?
The personality profiles, you
Yes.
mean? Okay.
Your psychometric tests.
They were very different. There are 8 scales on the profile we used. Jackie scored no extreme scores, nothing in the top or bottom 10%. Charlotte's were 6 out of 8 extreme scores. Very strong characteristics. And I think that enabled Jackie to fly under the radar, as she put it, to be a little more grey and to survive despite the lack of physical ability, which she well admits.
Right. Okay, come off the fence. Are you surprised, or are you kind of, you know, did you expect to see them in the final?
From the London paperwork, I probably would have predicted some other people in the final. But all credit to them for outsmarting the likes of Andy, Richard, and Nick and JJ, all very strong characters on paper.
Indeed.
But they won through.
Well done. And thank you, Stephen. Well, before we reveal the real votes, let's see who you at home thinks deserves the £1 million prize. The voting lines are now closed, and the result, I can tell you, is Charlotte wins 58% to 42. And I can tell you 368,000 of you voted in. Thank you very much indeed. Well, that's what you at home thought. But the real winner of Survivor has been decided by the jury of 7 on Pulau Tiga. And Mark, just remind us again, how did the final vote work?
Well, it is worth re-emphasising. Normally at Tribal Council, they voted against a person, against the person they wanted to see voted off the island. At this Tribal Council, they were voting for the person they wanted to win £1 million. And I hope, for the sake of this programme, that I explained that at the time.
Right. No,
it's another silly reaction.
You're kidding.
Always, you could never explain
reaction.
anything
Well,
properly.
you two stop
Never
it.
do
Stop
learn,
it.
do you?
Okay.
Honestly.
Well,
There's 2 of us now, you know.
Yeah, I know, you're both in it.
calm before the storm. It's
Thick as thieves, those
now
two.
time to reveal those votes and the winner of £1 million in cash. We're going to take a look at the voting. We'll reveal each vote in the order that the jury were evicted. We'll begin. Vote 1, Andy.
Jackie, you've done very well. Be proud. But Charlotte, you get my vote this evening, and I hope it makes you very, very happy.
Okay, 1-0 to Charlotte. What do you think, Charlotte?
I'm thrilled, obviously. He's great, I love him.
Jackie?
It was how I expected Andy's vote to go.
Right. Andy, why?
If I was being perfectly honest, I think my mind had been made up before Tribal Council that evening, and it did go back in many ways to tribal loyalty.
Okay, fair enough. Vote 1 to Charlotte. Vote 2. Well, actually, we'll go to Mr. Flett. You were right there. It's 1 out of 1 for you.
Yeah, could be lucky though. Just only 1 so far.
Yes. Do you think the tribal loyalty is playing a part?
I think it did for Halang, because
Right.
they were under the cosh, especially around the merger. I think it might be more complicated for Ula later on.
Okay. Well, the other member of Halang is awaiting his vote. James, with vote number 2.
Jackie, you are a leech that has grown fat on other people's misfortunes. I could never vote for you. Charlotte, for me, this has been Charlotte's journey, and I hope with all my heart that you win the £1 million and that you can continue that journey in happiness, but don't spend it all on chocolate.
Jackie, that leech has reared its head again.
I was expecting him to vote that way. I didn't think he'd be quite so harsh with his reasoning. If there was any chance of changing his mind, I completely made a pig's ear of answering his question, so that's how I was expecting it to go.
Did he have to be so harsh, though? Did he have to rub salt in?
Probably not. I mean, I lost quite a bit of weight since I've been on the island, so I wasn't certainly a leech that grew fat. No, I know.
Charlotte, your journey, James puts it.
Yeah, I'm really pleased, obviously, that I've got the vote, and I think I'm going to faint in a minute. But I think the insults might just get worse. I know he didn't insult me, but with regards to Jackie. So.
James, why so hard words?
Sorry?
Why the hard words?
It's how I felt at the time, you know. I just felt that Charlotte was a better survivor, and I did feel that, you know, Jackie had been carried somewhat. I mean, maybe in retrospect, it does look a bit harsh. I'm mellow now. Just apart from with you.
Yes. Stephen, 2 out of 2 so far. 2 for Charlotte. Harsh words, though, from James. Did he have to be so nasty?
No, he didn't have to. Clearly, James has his moments. We used to call him Crazy James during his jury life on the mainland. So he has his mad moments with both presenters and fellow contestants. As he said, he felt that way at the time. Maybe he doesn't feel quite so strongly now.
OK, well, we'll see how the rest of the votes go. That's 2 for Halang. We have the 5 Ula votes after the break. Welcome back. Before the break, we saw the 2 Halang votes cast, and they both went to Charlotte. We've still got the Ula 5 to go. So are we ready? Yes! Here's vote number 3. Pete.
From the moment I was voted off and became a member of the jury, there were only 2 people I was ever one to vote to give the £1 million to. One of them was voted off last night, so it gives me more than great pleasure to nominate Charlotte for the £1 million. She's been an inspiration to me. She's been an epitome of survivor. She was down and out a number of times. She heard the fat lady clearing her throat, but she never got to sing. And I think she deserves this because she carried on and did it to the end, and that's an inspiration to me. You're not out till you're out.
Well, Jackie, was that expected?
No, it wasn't completely expected. I knew there wouldn't be tribe loyalty, but I felt that I got on very well with Pete while I was there, and disappointing, very disappointed.
Charlotte Smiler, you must be smiling now.
I am, but obviously when the Halang tribe joined Sukutu, Pete was the first person that we became very friendly with, so I was hoping that I would get his vote, as he was also stabbed in the back by the Ula tribe, some of.
OK, thanks, Jackie and Charlotte. That means it's 3-0 to Charlotte. Jackie, you have to win the remaining 4 votes from the tribe. Here comes number 4, and if it doesn't go your way, the £1 million goes to Charlotte. Vote number 4, Zoe.
I actually feel quite dizzy with the responsibility of this decision. There have been times when I could have quite cheerfully strangled you both. However, Charlotte, you've grown on me, and I think you'll grow on people. And I think you just live off people.
Charlotte, can you come here for a second? OK, I'm Mark. And we have Jackie as well, and Martin. Come over here, you. Right, OK. Right, come on, where are we? Right, where are we? Marvellous, we're all there. Jackie, where's Jackie? Lovely, Jackie. Right, OK. In a minute. Charlotte, congratulations. Congratulations, Mark. Commiserations, Jackie. Okay, okay. Where's Mark? There you are. Okay. Well, Charlotte, you're now a millionaire.
I just can't believe it. I don't know what to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I am for the first time in my life.
And we've got the husband here who stood by you. Come in here, come in here, come in here.
Yeah.
Okay, a word for your wife?
Absolutely overwhelming, John. She's the true survivor.
Okay, indeed. Well,
and well done to Jackie as well.
Oh, indeed, yes. Jackie,
yeah, well
you've
done,
been
Jack.
a true competitor. Well, we're not all done here. You saw Zoe's vote. It was a crucial number 4 vote, but of course there were 3 left. Let's see them now. Starting with Eve, vote number 5.
I've only told one lie during this whole game, and that was about 30 minutes ago when I said that Jackie had played a good game, and nothing could be further from the truth. Jackie has been carried and protected by better and more deserving contestants since day 1. However, Charlotte has played a good game. She has played both the mental and the physical side of the game, and so deserves my vote.
Charlotte and Jackie, I've listened carefully to your answers tonight, and perhaps more importantly, I've watched how you've coped with the tremendous pressures and adversities over the last weeks. Charlotte, you deserve my vote.
I'm voting for Charlotte. Jackie, I am very sorry. We made an alliance. It worked extremely well. I'm not voting against you. I'm not bitter about the fact you got into the last 2. It became very apparent to me when we were stood there watching the sunset that I think you've missed the beauty of the whole place. I don't think you saw it. I brought my heart to this island. I'm voting with my heart. Charlotte, you're loud, you're brash, you're fun. You make no apology for the person you are, and I love that fact, and I want you to keep on being you. And I think you deserve the money, and I hope you enjoy the money, and I hope you continue to be yourself, and you continue not making any apologies for who you are. I really did enjoy the time you were here. I really did enjoy supporting you, helping you out, but I enjoyed your company as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. So, Charlotte, it was a split decision. You had every single vote on the jury. You won 7-0. What do you think, that everybody was with you?
I just find that incredible. I mean, I was up against Jackie and she's really fantastic, and I'm thrilled that I got every single vote. I'm thrilled to have won. It's just incredible, and I just don't know what to say. I don't.
Right. Jackie, I mean, it's one thing losing 4-3. In a way,
Yes.
I think it's maybe better.
What, losing 7?
Well, yeah, it's not as close. If
I
it was
don't know.
4-3, yeah.
I think that was probably my worst scenario, losing all 7 votes. I would have hoped to have had one friend on the jury. It probably beats my 15-second breath-holding competition. But good luck to Charlotte, and I hope she enjoys it.
Right.
I will.
Well, are you going to stay friends?
Absolutely,
Because you've
yeah,
got friends.
definitely. We
Yeah?
have. We've got on really well. And it was great to be with Jackie in the final 2 because we did get on so
Right.
well.
Well, this moment is going to change both your lives, I hope, both for the better. I mean, we'd heard what you potentially were going to do with the money. What are you going to do?
Well, we're definitely going to buy a really nice house, aren't we? And you lot, I'm sure, want some. But we'll just see. I'll hopefully spend it wisely and make it last a lifetime.
Right. And Jackie and Martin? Well, what's
I've
going to
got the
happen?
consolation prize.
The big question is, though, Jackie, you know, if you said you won the million, you know, that was going to go on your wedding.
Yeah, not to Martin, but it will.
To me now.
But are you still going to get married? Has it changed anything?
I think we'll have to discuss that.
Yeah, of course we are.
Of course you are, yes.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been lovely to meet you both. Commiserations, Jackie.
Okay.
What's good?
Thanks.
And well done, Mark, okay? And well done, Charlotte.
Thank you.
The millionaire has not got the money yet, but there's only one person who could really give you all that cash. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Austin!
Well done, Charlotte.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think it's one thing to win Survivor. It's quite another thing to win Survivor from the position you were in at merger. As you say, you're a sitting duck waiting to be shot. I think the moral is do not underestimate women. And it's perhaps no coincidence that 2 women contested the final. Bad luck, Jackie. But in my pocket is a key, if I've got it, which is perhaps the most important key you'll ever receive. It is the key. It is the key to this £1 million.
Congratulations, Charlotte. You are a £1 million winner of Survivor.
There it is.
Well, the £1 million prize has been awarded to Charlotte. We have our ultimate survivor. However, do you have what it takes to be the next ultimate survivor? We are looking for people to take part in Survivor 2 who'd like a chance to win £1 million. Details of how to take part are coming up. But from all of us here, from Mark Austin, from Stephen Fleck, the 16 contestants, Charlotte a winner, and from the entire Survivor crew, thank you and good night. It's been a night of unbelievable tension. It's been $1 million. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon. From all of us, good night.
Stay with us for the ITV News at 10, coming up next.